Mr. President, I rise to offer some brief remarks about a dear friend, someone upon whom I've relied as a mentor, someone who has served our nation across many decades, and someone whose passing earlier today is a moment of great significance for our nation and our place in the world. I happen to have been a Truman Scholar. Some of my best friends are Truman Scholars, and the person whose passing we mourn today, I first met because she was the chair of the Truman Scholarship Foundation Board. I'm speaking of the former Ambassador to the United Nations, former Secretary of State, Madeleine Albright, who I first got to know decades ago, but who in my dozen years here in the Senate I got to know as a mentor and a friend, someone whose lilting humor, whose brilliant insights, whose force of personality, and whose charisma were unmatched. One of the greatest memories I will have in my life was a dinner I got to enjoy last year with former Secretary and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs Colin Powell and former Secretary of State and Ambassador to the United Nations Madeleine Albright and the Ambassador from the United Kingdom. We sat in her garden and talked for hours about the world, about conflict, about Russia and China, about Putin, about the Balkans, about a whole range of things, and I learned so much. Madeleine never lost her love for this institution, for the Senate. It was here that she, as a relatively young staffer, cut her teeth on politics and on being engaged in policymaking. And one of the things that always amused her was that this desk, the desk that Senator Biden and Senator Kennedy, was also the desk of Senator Ed Muskie, a senator from Maine for whom she worked for a number of years. She was his chief LA from '76 until '78, and then went to work for Zbigniew Brzezinski on the National Security Council. I will simply say this. Today we have lost one of our best and one of our brightest, one of the most passionate in her dedication to democracy. As someone who was born overseas in Prague, Czechoslovakia, and who, along with her family, fled communism to come to the United States, she never stopped offering her insights, her advice, her passionate dedication to democracy. In the books that she read, in the pins that she wore, in the speeches that she gave, in the students that she mentored, Madeleine Albright touched so many lives. And yet she, on occasion, was gracious enough to give me just a few minutes of her time. Through her, her daughter Alice and her grandson David became great and dear friends. And David's service in my office was an enormous blessing to me and my team. And I just wanted to ask for prayers for them, for their family, and for all whose lives were touched by Madeleine Albright.